You know, our planet is basically one giant museum of forgotten worlds. It's filled with these enigmas that challenge everything we think we know about our own past. All across the globe, there are clues, monuments, and messages from civilizations that have just vanished. And sometimes these puzzles are hiding right beneath the waves. You see colossal structures like this one that just defy any easy explanation. So, are we looking at a strange trick of nature? Or are these the actual ruins of a city that was swallowed by the sea? Then on land, you get these enigmatic messages carved into the earth itself, massive drawings that you can only really see from the sky. So you have to wonder, who were they for? And sometimes, hiding in plain sight, you find forgotten cities and temples. They whisper these tales of societies that were way more advanced and organized than we ever thought possible for their time. So are these just whispers from lost worlds? Well, today we're going to investigate these echoes from a forgotten past, piecing together the clues left behind by some of archaeology's greatest mysteries. All right, first up, echoes of a forgotten past. We're going to start with a discovery that is so profound it completely rewrites the timeline of human civilization as we know it. This right here is Göbekli Tepe. And let's be clear, it's not just some old site. It is the oldest known temple on Earth, period. It was found in Turkey, and it basically forces us to question the entire story of how civilization even began. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Just look at the timeline. We're talking 9600 BCE. This place was built by hunter-gatherers a full 6,000 years before Stonehenge. And it was even built before we invented farming. The old theory was always that you needed agriculture to feed workers for huge projects like this. Well, Göbekli Tepe just flips that entire idea on its head. And the sheer scale of what they accomplished is just staggering. I mean, we are talking about massive T-shaped pillars, some of them weighing up to 20 tons, and they're covered in these incredibly detailed carvings of animals. To quarry, move, and then stand these things up, that required a level of social organization we thought was totally impossible for hunter-gatherer societies. So this brings us to a revolutionary idea from archaeologist Klaus Schmidt. What if the need to gather for these huge organized rituals at a place like Göbekli Tepe was the actual reason we started farming? You know, maybe the need to feed all those workers and pilgrims is what kicked off the agricultural revolution, and not the other way around. It's a wild thought that maybe religion, not farming, built the first city. Okay, next up we're exploring mysterious messages carved in stone and earth. We're going to keep going with this theme of ancient sophistication, but this time we're looking at messages left on a planetary scale. Let's head over to the desolate coastal plains of southern Peru, because this is the home of one of the world's most famous enigmas, the Nazca lines. The Nazca people created these colossal drawings etched right into the desert floor well over 1,000 years ago. You can see animals like this frigate bird, spiders, monkeys, you name it, alongside these huge geometric shapes. And they are vast. Some of them stretch 300 meters across. The thing is, you can't really even appreciate them from the ground. You have to see them from above. But the biggest question of all is, why? Who was the audience for art you can only see from the sky? The theories all seem to point to something deeply spiritual. Were they ceremonial pathways for rituals? Giant astronomical calendars that mapped the heavens? Or maybe even sacred maps that pointed to hidden water sources? Whatever they were, the Nazca people were clearly speaking a language that was directed at forces much larger than themselves. It's like this dialogue with the cosmos, and we've only just begun to try and understand it. Our investigation is now going deeper into the legends of sunken worlds. We're going to explore some enigmatic structures found both beneath the waves and in some of the most remote corners of the planet. Right off the coast of Japan lies the Yonaguni Monument. This massive underwater rock formation is at the center of a really fierce debate. On one side, you have geologists who argue it's a completely natural phenomenon, just erosion and tectonic activity doing its thing. But on the other side, people point to what look like man-made features, these incredibly sharp angles, flat terraces, and formations that look just like steps. So could it be a natural wonder that was later modified by some ancient people? And then you have Nan Madol in Micronesia. People sometimes call it the Venice of the Pacific. And you can see why. It's an entire city built on nearly 100 artificial islets, right on top of a coral reef. The Sottolier dynasty built it, using these massive, multi-ton logs of basalt rock. How they managed to quarry and transport these enormous stones, and then build this sprawling city literally in the middle of the ocean, well, that still baffles engineers and archaeologists today. So, from the Pacific Ocean, our search now takes us all the way to the vast Sahara Desert to find this, the Richshot structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. It's this massive, almost perfectly circular geological formation. Its amazing concentric rings look so much like a city plan that it's often been linked to Plato's description of Atlantis. But as fascinating as that theory is, archaeologists are pretty quick to point out the reality. As Sean Rafferty notes, besides being circular, it really doesn't match Plato's description. And most importantly, it's a naturally formed geologic dome located hundreds of miles inland in a desert, so it's a natural marvel for sure, just not a man-made city. We've journeyed from ancient temples to desert drawings and sunken structures. And as we start to think about the unanswered questions, we find ourselves left with way more mysteries than conclusions. Each and every one of these sites represents a piece of this giant, unsolved puzzle about who we are and where we come from. They totally challenge our assumptions about the past, and they show us that ancient people were more capable, more organized, and way more mysterious than we ever imagined. These enigmas are such a powerful reminder that our history is not a closed book. There are still chapters out there just waiting to be written. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest discoveries about our own origins are still out there, buried beneath the sand or the sea, just waiting to be found.